Check out the ultimate guide for the ambitious young man, only at themailarchive.com.
But no matter how much they try and play that city girl bullshit, they have an
Fuck
emotional
that.
they have an emotional attachment to the people they sleep with.
Correct.
I can
Yes.
be head over heels in love with a female, ready to die for her, look after her with
And
everything
still-
I have, ready to stand by her no matter what, and I will still go fuck that other bitch.
You know,
Just as that relationship goes over to all the bad stuff, there's still some good relationships are great, but as soon as it becomes from lust to love, they bounce. And I think that is the perfect system when you're dating women.
Stop hoping for your woman to get easier. Every moment with her is either a test or a celebration. If you're not currently celebrating with her, like joyfully making love, you're both laughing and stuff, then she's testing you. Literally, it's like either you're laughing or making love, or she's testing you.
What the fuck do we actually follow? There's just so much advice out there on how to become the best man possible. Some guys say ignore women. Some guys say learn how to incorporate feminine energy into your life. Some say fuck casual sex, while some say indulge in it. Then there's the videos that say self-improvement is ass, which obviously is the stupid side to be in right now. But the fact that there's just so much information out there about what and what not to do, it's just so hard to decide what's actually right for you. Some guys might say something that goes against your values. Some guys might say things that coincide with your values, but then the other guy says it's not correct. And because of the amount of saturation in this side of the internet, men just don't know what to follow anymore. A mentor of mine once told me, just stick to a tight-knit group of men whom you follow the opinions of. Maximum of 3, he'd say. 3 men whom you trust. That way the number of times in which their opinions would intersect would be much lesser, and you wouldn't go crazy as to what to follow. Plus, you'd be able to dissect much easier which advices might be better for you within just 3 as compared to thousands on the internet. This is not to say that the self-improvement icons such as Hamza, Firstman, Tate, and more are wrong about self-improvement. It's just that they each have their very own set of ideas that differ from one another. Hamza talks a lot about the importance of having relationships in a man's life. Firstman does too, but he emphasizes the fact that during building, this isn't very feasible, as it leaves you complacent. And Tate plays around with women, which isn't wrong either, depending on your beliefs. This shit isn't to pick on them each, but it's to dissect their main points of knowledge and see how it could possibly apply to you. One of the main men I listen to in my life is my mentor in real life as I go on to build the Male Archive and seal it as a real brand in the men's industry. But in order to do that, mindsets and philosophies has to be formed, and the knowledge my mentor teaches me are all worded in a way which is very similar to one of the major self-improvement channels out there, which I won't mention which. So that's the only channel I actually genuinely follow for proper knowledge and advice. My brand, the Male Archive, I plan to expand it as it grows throughout the future and establish it as a male lifestyle brand. Anything a man needs for himself to protect his testosterone, we've probably got. Now, to get to that point, I gotta build an audience who supports it. But before anything as large of a scale is started, mindset shifts must be done, and short periods of learning must be incorporated. So this is not to say don't follow these guys. Instead, find someone whom you truly resonate with and stick to that place, whether that be this channel or anything else. Stick to at least 3 major self-improvement channels you wish to take advice from and learn from. Then dissect their teachings and tailor it to your beliefs. If out of the 3 channels you follow, let's say one guy says to fuck a lot of women and one guy says don't, but generally they all talk about having a proper dynamic of masculine and feminine polarity, then follow which one you think aligns with your ethics more, because essentially they all still have the same great advice of having that natural masculine-feminine dynamic in a relationship, which is good knowledge. But now it all boils down to what your ethics are. This type of misinterpretation doesn't just apply to self-improvement. It applies to many other aspects of male life, such as dating and shit. Some couple thousands of people might say, text your ex, and a couple thousand might say, nah bro. And you sit there and go like, well, what the fuck do I do? Well, I think the same concept applies. Just choose 3 major sources of dating advice and stick to them. People say, oh, but you should listen to other people's opinions too. Well, sure, look what it's doing to you, motherfucker. You're sitting around questioning yourself about what the fuck is right anymore and scratching your ass. But remember, it's important to understand that they should have the same general idea of what's correct. My personal belief is texting your ex is a no-go, but let's say comparing 2 different advices. One guy says don't text but play mind games, and one guy says don't text but just move on respectfully. Well, now that's down to your ethics and own logic to decide. The same goes with making money. There's thousands of ways out there to make money, but you just gotta stick to one thing for years to blow it up. If you go and do multiple businesses at once during the early days, you're gonna lose it. People say shit like destiny is real, but in reality, I think that's bullshit, because if you were destined to have a built path in life, what's the point of having the ability to make decisions? The same goes with solely just being wishy-washy and following this one guy one day and that one guy the next. What's the use of your ability to think when you just keep obeying motherfuckers in the internet? You have the ability to think, figure out which ones you want to follow, and tailor them to your life. Because everyone has different circumstances in life. One guy might be born rich, one guy might be born poor, and the rich guy goes out and starts selling advice on how he got rich, and the poor guy watches it and goes crazy because he thinks what he's doing is wrong. This shit is the wrong way to go. Listen to the knowledge and figure out which one applies to your current life circumstance. That way you won't go crazy as to which one is the true way to do it. Use your ability to think. You were given that as a gift. Stop being hypnotized by motherfuckers telling you to do X and Y, and you do it. Think it through first. Will this benefit me? Does it align to my ethics? For me, ethics isn't usually a big thing when I make decisions, but for you it might be a big thing. Because for me, what works is what I do. 95% logic, 5% emotion. That's also a piece of advice for me in making decisions. But like I said, it still boils down to you on whether or not you choose to take it into consideration. Check out the ultimate guide for the ambitious young man, only at themailarchive.com.